What's up, folks, and welcome to this week's episode of the Pilot Review Show. I am Captain Blade J52, and I am joined by some of my merry cohorts. We have our resident TeacherKirby.
Hello, how's it going? I'm here.
And we also have our resident hologram back with us this evening, Artie.
Hello.
Neela is lurking somewhere about in the channel, finishing up an event. Hopefully should be able to join us pretty soon. But, anyways, we've got some interesting stuff to get through this week. So, we should probably go ahead and get stats ahead. So first and foremost, we have our new featured episode at the moment. This is the Survivor episode. Gives a pretty decent bit of stuff as a reward that we'll take a look at in just a minute. But basically we get to see some of the fallout of what's happened to Neela since the last time around that we saw her at the end of the Iconian War. Denise Crosby and Matt Winston apparently joined us again for this episode. It's opening up to our panel a bit. What do you guys think of it so far?
Personally, yeah.
Go ahead.
I personally love the mission. It does answer a few of my questions and things I realized, hey, that's a little open-ended. Maybe there's more to this. So I'm not going to spoil anything. I just loved how it was set up for either more things to happen or answering some questions that we did have.
Yeah, I agree. I played the mission and it was a nice mission. I liked that there were some puzzles to solve. You definitely had a good mix of kill things and puzzles and kill things and puzzles. So, I did like that. And I like how they left it. They left kind of a mystery at the end as to, someone who might be joining the cast of Star Trek Online.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not really played through it myself yet, but I do know of the person you're referring to. Hopefully they're able to convince them to join the game. Because then I would probably jump for joy if that happened. But, yeah, totally not gonna lie. One of the best characters, I think, but... Anyways, moving on to our next big thing, we have our RP blog Ripples.
Okay. Ripples, RP blog. I will say it is a good read. It does give us another look of some of our future counterparts helping out fix out the timeline, especially those under Captain Walker's command on the USS Pastak. It gives us a little bit, hey, this is going on over here, maybe that's going on over there. It's a sideline to what's going on in-game while we're just continuing on in our little story. It's short, sweet, to the point. There's a few good lines of like, hey, that may lead more into something in a mission here or there, and what do you guys think?
Well, it does lead into our featured episode this week, but what I like is that it does tell us or let us know there are consequences for having doubles of somebody in the universe.
Oh yeah.
So it is, yeah.
Yes.
So that's quite interesting.
I definitely caught that little snippet as well, and it makes me wonder what exactly these guys are seeing.
Who knows? Maybe there's more doubles walking around and we just don't know it.
That's a very real possibility.
They did say they've encountered it before. So, that's interesting. So I'm wondering where they've encountered it before, and if we might see some more of this.
Indeed.
Agreed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Alright, and it's hard to say anything more without,
Spoiling it, yeah.
Yep.
I know.
Yep.
I don't want to spoil the featured mission. I want everyone to get to that and read this alongside because they're going to be like, oh, I see the
right?
connections now.
Yeah, we don't
Yes, so
definitely don't
but
want to spoil it for you guys because we want y'all to be able to play through the mission and enjoy it yourselves and whatnot.
this
But
is true. But we definitely recommend reading the the fiction blog Ripples before you play the episode Survivor. It will make a lot more sense.
most definitely.
All right. Moving right along to our Survivor rewards, week 1. And as always, during our featured episode, we have special rewards. The first week rewards are the Romulan Operative Personal Shield and the Romulan Operative Combat Armor. Need 2 words today. In addition, the first completion of this mission on your account will grant a featured episode weekly reward box that gives you your choice of an enhanced universal tech upgrade or a captain specialization point box. And remember, the tech upgrade and the captain and the specialization point are account bound, so you can change or you can move them amongst your characters to give it to those who need it most. Alright, and the weekly reward box is also account bound, so you can put it in your account bank, you can move it around, so on and so forth. Alright, and then there are, of course, the Romulan Operative Personal Shield and Combat Armor count towards the Furtive Perseverance set. And so this has some bonuses. Prepared Strikes is the 2-piece set bonus, and that provides 10% critical chance while stealthed and not moving. And that is doubled if you are also crouched. 20% crit severity while stealthed and not moving, and that is also doubled if crouched. And 25 kit readiness improves kit module cooldowns. And then we have covered tracks, and that's your 3-piece set, and this provides plus 25 kit performance and kills all Polaron Covert Ops Compression Pistol skills have a chance to apply ambush. So in other words, if you kill things with this specific pistol, then you have a chance to apply ambush. Alright, so next week we'll reveal week 2's reward for Survivor. Whew, that was a lot to say.
Yep.
Comments?
I will say I've tested out the shield and the armor so far. Really well done. With the addition of the more or less modified stealth module that they have now, I think it works very well because now you don't have to be in stealth like forever. You have to put it on, wait for a moment, wait for someone to come by, and then you can attack. Now with the new pistol that's going to be coming out next week, I feel like that it's going to be so a whole bunch. How do I put it? Much more well done, if that's an actual phrase to put. Because if you're in a team, only in say you or maybe most of you have this set, everyone gets ambushed. That's a whole lot of stealth damage that you can like sneak attack. It's just great. So.
Yes, it is.
That would be pretty good. Now he's got me wanting to go get the set.
Not to mention the pistol does look pretty cool, so.
Absolutely. But we will have this in the notes for you guys, everything, but I suppose we should be moving along to our next big thing. We have the War Games scenario of Core Assault. Everything basically, following up on the Arena of Sompek, they decided to introduce a new type of mission, It says the Alliance has set up further exercises to prepare its captains for the ongoing challenges that await them. These new war game scenarios will pit teams of captains against each other in trials of speed, strength, and ingenuity. Core Assault is a space-based 5v5 convergence class wargame scenario where 2 flights of captains will race in starships through a station in the Aldaphus system. Guess that's how you say that. The station has been set up with hollow emitters to provide challenges for each team. Both teams must reach the station core, which contains 2 core regulators, 1 for each team, and each team must destroy the other team's regulator while defending their own. Basically, in a nutshell, to give a comparison, think of this something like the Alterac Valley Battleground if you've ever played World of Warcraft. Basically, in the World of Warcraft Battleground, you would fight against certain NPCs to try to eliminate them, then you would move on to the main objective, which is kind of what this is doing. If you get there first, you can nuke the other team's general, or quote-unquote core in this case, and not even have to deal with fighting the enemy at all. But, any comments, anything from our panel on this?
So, and I know the answer to this, but I'm going to put it out there. So, at the end, if both teams arrive at the same time, it is a full-on PvP, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. So, it is possible that you could end up fighting the other 5 players while trying to put down their core all at the same time.
That is absolutely possible, yes.
I think it's a pretty cool idea so far. I haven't been able to test it myself, but it seems like a straightforward thing. I feel like many people will have a very fun, challenging time seeing what they can do to get around to the enemy's core instead of fighting the other 5 hostile captains. So.
And I am here now. And
Hey, Neela.
Welcome back, Neela.
And welcome back, good sir.
I kind of think it'll be a nice little change to it, because it'll be something different, and they wanted to spice stuff up. And if people have ever played WoW with the battlegrounds and WoW arenas, it essentially sounds like it's going to be something like that.
I'll be honest, I'm not sure how much I'm going to like this. I'm not a fan of PvP. But I'll give it a chance before I make any judgments, but I'm not sure how much I'll actually like this.
Yeah, I do feel like there's going to be too many people going, oh, it's just another PvP map, and get in there with a really strong ship and all that, and basically just wipe everyone out, so it's just no fun for anyone to really play. So you ruin it once, just no one's going to play it.
Yep. Which, that actually brings us into our next blog article, which is the player potential system. Now, basically, the player potential system boils down to, the best comparison I can give, is the arena rating system that you have in World of Warcraft. Basically, over there, once you play a few matches, it kind of gets a feel for where you're at. Oh, this player's at the higher end, so let's play or pair him with other higher end players. This person seems to be struggling, so let's put them towards the lower end. Now, one thing I would say, if it is your first couple of games in Arena on WoW, then you might get your rear end handed to you. That is a very real possibility. But once you learn, once the system learns, then the matches start to be more balanced and hopefully a lot more fair. But it does touch base on how they're going to calculate it. It's used as an approximation of your power. It's adjusted for your the equipment that you have, by the matches you win, things such as that, and whatnot. But any comments on this from everybody?
I'm going to say it now. That sounds extremely helpful, especially in my case when I'm not the best at flying my ship, but I do pretty good damage. I'm happy to be fit into a area where everyone else matches that little section.
Again, I haven't seen it in action. I don't know how good the AI is on this, or the calculation is on this. So I'm going to reserve judgment until I see it.
Fair
You know
enough.
what I mean?
Yeah, fair enough. Understandable.
Yeah.
And what about you, Sir Neela?
I kind of think it's gonna be. There's gonna be some hiccups with it at first, like anything new, but with, like, take Star Wars for example. They have not a system like this, but they have something where they try and match you with people of similar gear score or gear rating, so it's not completely one-sided. To be honest, I think it'll be a really positive thing overall.
Sounds like some pretty good comments. Now, I do want to say, keep in mind, for the first little while, there probably, as Neela said, there may be some hiccups for this as the system is figuring out everybody's rating or their combat potential. So, if you're somebody that enjoys PvP and everything, then just kind of keep that in mind. If you're somebody that's not really a fan of PvP, then I might even recommend that you not really invest into these modes. The wargame stuff is an optional thing. You don't have to do it. It's something that's there if you want to do it. But once we get more information, once we figure out more stuff, we'll be able to provide you with a better bit of info or a better explanation as to how things are going to work. But moving on, we have our first Contact Day wallpapers.
So this was out April 5th in 2063, which is the first Contact Day in the Star Trek universe. So that's the day when Zefram Cochrane did his first warp flight and drew the attention of the Vulcans to Earth. So, in remembrance of this, on April 5th, Cryptic gave us wallpaper for our desktop. So there are a number of different sizes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different sizes, depending on the size of your screen and how much resolution your screen can handle. Cannot speak today. Then you can download the size that is appropriate for you. I must say I have the wallpaper on my desktop and I love it. I do like it. It is very nice. But my only criticism, that watermark in the back of the guy that's supposed to be Zefram Cochrane does not look like Zefram Cochrane. Just saying.
Yeah. I just want to
say not quite looking like him, but I do like the picture very much.
I also want to say this for anyone on console that would like to have these wallpapers as their background, at least for Xbox. You get it on your PC, take it to the OneDrive, and if you sync it with your Xbox OneDrive, you'll be able to get it from there, or Skype for that matter. You'll be able to get it from there and put it on your background.
sounds like some good information and everything. And am I the only one that thinks this looks like an Obi-Wan with a shaved beard?
No,
No.
I thought that first.
Oh. You know, have any of you ever watched the show Eureka?
Yes.
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 I know who.
I swear to God, that's what the sheriff looks like.
Yes, I could see it. I could see
I
that.
can see it. Yeah, that's what it.
Just with some strong
Suppose.
laugh
Like-
lines there.
Yeah. But I'm looking at it and I'm like, that is not Zephyr Cocker. I mean, I don't know, maybe they couldn't get the likeness rights to be able to use his likeness. But, yeah, it looks a lot more like the sheriff from Eureka than Zephyr Cocker. Not that it's not a bad picture, it's a wonderful picture. And we do appreciate it, but yeah.
Maybe they should
And
have.
everyone said it.
Maybe they should have like a little excerpt on the bottom of the statue saying, "Just for your notice, many marble slabs were sacrificed in the making of this statue." Couldn't get his chin right.
That's funny. That's very funny.
Is it sad? I could totally see that happening.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Very much so.
But we will have this in the notes for you guys, so you can check out the wallpapers
Yes,
and download them
definitely.
for yourselves. But we have an upgrade weekend for our console players. Sir Neela.
It would help if I was hitting the right button.
Yes, it would.
There we go. Yeah. Basically, anything that from rep, from anything you get from missions, etc., that you want to work on upgrading, or your ground gear that you want to upgrade. Now's the time to do it because you get double tech points, you get double quality points. If you use quality in boost. So, very, very nice time to go do this.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
One thing.
Is this on
Go ahead, Kirby.
console or PC?
This is console.
Console, that's what I thought.
Yeah. We should mention, for any of you that may still have the Omega Tech upgrades left, the upgrade weekend does work with them. So, on the Omega weekend, you're looking at, or not Omega weekend, I wish, but there's an
I
Omega
know, right?
weekend, but on the upgrade weekend, since it doubles the technology points, this does apply to your Omega Tech upgrades as well, and if you combo that with with a technology booster the 2 times, then that will boost it even further. I think the highest I've gotten up to by doing something like that on an upgrade weekend is about Mark 11, around there, give or take a little bit. But did want to mention that. But next thing we have is our shuttle weekend for PC players.
Okay. This is, besides RPing, this is my second favorite thing I love doing. Flying around in shuttles, blowing everything up. Okay. So starting from Thursday, April 6th at 9 a.m. till Monday of April 10th at 10 a.m., we get to fly around in shuttles and do multiple STFs and special fleet attack events and such like that. To see to test your mettle in a shuttle, basically. Our first up, we have the Atmosphere Assault. You and 5 other players basically go down into an atmosphere and take on, save some Romulans and take on a bunch of Yalachi coming down to shoot you down. They have all sorts of shuttles, they have walkers, you can fly under them, you can fly above them, drop 10 tons of torpedoes. It's very fun. Next up, we have Storming the Spire. The maximum players for this one is 20. What you have to do is basically attack, steal stuff from the Voth, You got to capture one of the points on the spire and make sure everything goes out smoothly. The Voth will play dirty, and hopefully you can get the upper hand on them with those other 19 players besides you. Next up, the Vault Shuttle event. Maximum of 5 players.
You vault.
It happens. In this one, you have to basically go in there. It's same thing as you would see in the normal Vault event, Vault STF. But this time, you get better better marks and stuff like that, such as to give you all sorts of marks due to it, so it's much better turnout. And next we have the Federation and Klingon fleet alerts. Maximum players for this is 20. You get to go up against a number of waves of enemies, depending from Romulans, Klingons, depending on what side you are, all the way up to the Borg. And let's hope you don't get Borg in those little small craft, So, go out there, get your shuttles tuned up, and let's hope you can give that bad guy a punch to the face or something.
Yes, because why use 5 large craft when you could send in 20 shuttles?
It's actually quite fun. It's actually quite fun to use shuttles for the board.
Oh yeah, I've seen too many people already flying with like a bunch of peregrines just loaded up with tricobalts, and they just fly in, bomb them with a high yield. It's great because sometimes they're actually in like little groups, so they're flying in formation. You just watch them just carpet bomb a cube. It's hilarious.
That's funny.
I may or may not have thrown a subspace vortex on my Delta Flyer and a torpedo spread. So just run in.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, some guy's got them all nice and grouped up for me. Oh, let me hit this subspace vortex and then carpet bomb them with a bunch of torps.
Nice.
Not that I would do that or anything,
Totally would.
You totally would.
Yeah, you're right, I would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Alrighty.
definitely check this out, folks, because it is actually pretty fun and a good way to get marks.
Yeah, and I mean the biggest thing is that, as we said, the Vault and all of these other ones will give your choice of marks throughout the weekend. So, if you're looking for those last few Lucari marks and you can't stand doing gravity kills one last time, that kind of thing, or, anything else, and you want to change of pace, this is a good change of pace. Have some fun doing it. You can get any marks that you need.
Also, you vault.
Ew, Vault, I know. No.
I'd rather just have someone to shoot me now.
Hey, come on now.
I'm kind of where he is, but moving along, we have our PC patch notes for the 6th.
And that is... Ooh, looks like that's me. Alright, so...
Fine.
Basically, they added the new episode. That's the big new feature thing. And then for the general, they resolved an issue where sometimes ships would replay the death animation after respawning. That was funny but annoying. And then they resolved a couple typos on, let's see, Allied Escort Console, as it claimed to have plus max all subsystem power, but it's actually plus max weapons. Resolved an issue where the planet in Battle of Caleb 4 appeared green. Decreased the brightness of the Tholian web FX that was causing seizures. No.
Who knows?
Probably headaches. I mean,
Dun, dun, dun!
Updated the text on the hit and run starship trait to clarify the duration of the resistance rating buff portion. Alright, and that's it. That was nice and short and sweet.
Wait, so you're telling me
That's-
Caleb 4 is not supposed to be green?
No, Caleb 4 is not supposed to be green. I don't know what color it's supposed to be because I haven't played it recently. But it's not supposed to be green. Apparently.
And this week in our news, some guy was playing Star Trek Online and died after having a seizure-induced meltdown from the thulium web effects that were turned up way too high. More on this at 11.
That's like the worst rumor there. Let's not do that.
That's no.
No,
Not true. Fake news.
No.
For the record, that's just
Fake
me.
news.
That's just me having
That
a little
is
fun with it.
fake.
But yes,
That is fake news. Okay, that is fake news. It may have given somebody a headache, but no.
That was
Okay.
bad.
More news. More news
Little-
after. More about this after the weather.
To be fair, I did start it, but damn it. Okay.
that's just a little bit of my twisted sense of humor there.
I know, right? Okay. But yeah, so the new episode this week can be played by captains who are level 10 or higher. So check it out while you can. Survivor, it's awesome. You'll love it.
And I would,
Moving on.
even if you don't want to do the mission, I would still do the mission just for the spec point or the upgrade.
Yep.
Indeed.
Alright, we are moving on.
Moving right along. Do 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 do.
Phenomena.
Who's next? Do 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 do.
Well, it looks like it's
Phenomena.
Neela again. The console.
Neela!
Yep. Our console guy.
Neela, you're up.
Hang on.
Stage left.
Other notes. Neela forgot to pull up the notes.
Oh,
My goodness.
no, my browser died.
Well, kick it in the pants.
I'm
Oh god,
trying.
he's gonna revive it as a Kobali.
Oh
I'm
no.
trying. What was
That's
this
all
one
we
again?
need. The
Technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen.
Wouldn't be
What was
pilot
this
review without him, would it?
No. I think every show has technical difficulties.
This is true.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, basically nothing really major on this one. Just 20% low buy sale. So if you have any extra low buy from any boxes you've opened, or the R&D promotions that they had going on a couple months ago, and you've been eyeing any ships, any costumes, any of the ground weapons from the low buy store, now's the time to get them for cheap.
Consoles, especially. There are some things that you can get only with Lobby, like ship consoles, Lobby weapons. Those aren't available to be sold on the exchange, so those you would have to get with Lobby. And now would be the time to get those. And again, this is only for console, right?
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Darkblade.
Hey,
You're
everybody
so
was
funny
thinking it.
tonight.
I'm just the one that said it. But
No, actually, I said it. You typed it, so I win.
Yep. Okay.
I don't think anyone's a winner with that one.
I heard it both ways.
All right. All right.
But anyway, folks, that's all joking aside and everything. We actually have our thing telling folks how to copy your character over to the Tribble testing server. And essentially, what you would do is you would sign into your account. I'll tell everybody the quick way to do it. You would go to your profile, everything. Then there should be under your character profile or under your ARC profile a character transfer page that you can go to. I'm apparently not signed in, so I can't really show you what it looks like without giving my account details away on the air, and not really going to do that. But we do have the or the page for everybody. Some of the questions that it does ask is, do you keep the progress you make on your test character and transfer it back to holodeck? And the answer is, of course, no, you do not, because it is 2 separate servers and technically 2 different characters.
Especially if you copy the same character over multiple times, you'll have that character's name, number 1, that character's name, number 2, that character's name, number 3, that character's name, number 4.
And the
So
other
on.
thing, if you put something in your account bank on Tribble or Redshirt, it will not appear in your account bank on Holodeck.
Yeah, it's best to have that stuff in your inventory.
Yeah.
Well, no, I know of somebody who put in some of the testing packets in their account bank on Tribble, hoping that it would transfer to their account bank on Holodeck.
Oh, I thought you meant
They
the other way around.
yeah. No.
Yeah.
And that's the first question, folks. No, it doesn't.
Nope, it doesn't.
That'd be fun if it did, but
Yeah, that would be lots of fun for us. Yeah.
can definitely
Yeah.
understand why it doesn't, though.
It
Yeah.
would break the game, Major.
Yes.
Oh, it'd more than break the game, it'd blow it to high heaven, but yeah.
So it'd be a hole in the matrix again.
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
No holes in the matrix. No.
It would be a hole in the matrix, causing a supernova, which the supernova would then be causing a black hole.
Leave it to Neela.
Hey, you were all thinking it.
Yeah, he's not entirely wrong on that. But
Yeah.
we will have this in the notes for you guys so you can know how to transfer a character over and everything. I am actually highly going to recommend that you do get testing in because of how extensive this revamp that they're doing is, because of everything that it
Yes.
touches. You're going to want to get some testing time in, even if it's just to figure out one build and go from there. Because the old metas are going the way of the dodo. And if you're not prepared, it's probably not going to end too well.
Intruder, intruder! Do not fall into the pit. Intruder, intruder! Or you instantly burn and die.
I think there's something wrong with Neela. Did he forget to take his medication?
Okay.
I cannot answer that.
If you have not seen Ice Age, then you're not going to get that.
But anyway, folks, the next big thing we have is the scheduled downtime for Arc.
Alright. Is
Yeah.
this me or Artie?
I'll take it.
Okay.
Simply enough, Arc will go under a scheduled maintenance at 6 a.m. On what's that? Oh, is the date wrong?
April the 10th, no? Why?
No, I have it as a different date.
No,
It was
April
posted on
10th.
the
The
7th.
first one says April 10th, 2017, and then there's one under it that says February 21st.
Oh, I'm at the wrong one. Oops.
Okay.
Okay, so here we go. Arc will go under a scheduled maintenance at 7 a.m. on April 10th. My bad. It will hopefully the maintenance will go for approximately 1 hour. They're going to just update the servers, upgrade it, things here and there. Hopefully, it won't impact many of the games too differently. To find out when it would be in your time zone, they have it, regarding those updates on Twitter or the Facebook pages, as well as most likely on their actual forums, I'm pretty sure. So, if there's anything that you need a message like, hey, I don't think this loaded in correctly, is this right? You can contact them through the emergency message systems and such like that. So, there you go.
There you go. Pretty simple.
Yep. We will have this in the notes for you guys and everything, so you can be prepared for this. usually, from what I've observed, doesn't take too long with these, so should have that pretty quick.
Yeah.
But coming
And
up... Oh, go ahead, Kirby.
I was going to say, it does say that the PC games may be delayed. I'm not sure if that means that they may come offline at some point, but it does also say the consoles will not be affected.
What I'm gathering from that is basically where people can log in through either the Arc client or through Steam. I could see that being an issue. But what I found is you can actually pin the launcher itself for STO to your taskbar, and then you don't even have to use the Arc client at all.
Right.
At least that's how I get in anyways, is I just pinned the thing. So it's a lot easier for me in that aspect, but definitely keep that in mind, folks. If you are seeing issues and whatnot, give them a little bit of time to get it back up when this does happen. But anyways, I suppose we should be moving along. Whatnot. Actually have our budget build for this week. This is one that I actually wanted to do about a week or two ago, but it wasn't yet in the builder. And we have a bare bones budget build for the Universe class. That may seem a bit like an oxymoron considering how high priced the ship can go, but the logic behind this is you're somebody that you bought a couple of packs of R&D at random thinking, oh, what the heck, I'm not going to get the ship. You end up getting lucky and you drop one. Or maybe you're somebody that decided to drop the 1.3 or 1.5 billion on the ship, whatever it is, and you don't have nothing left hardly as far as EC to work with. So for our weapons and everything, decided to go with a Polaron build for the ship, mainly because that's what I'm using on mine and it's done pretty good. For our forward weapons, we have the chronometric beam array. We also have the advanced piezo beam from Lucari. And then we have 2 Dominion Polaron beams up front. Then in the back we have our chronometric Omni and 3 additional Dominion Polaron beams. Now what makes the Dominion beams so good is they are essentially a hybrid of Tetrion and Polaron. They have the possibility of, whenever they proc, to drain power or to drain shields. Just depends on which one of the procs that you actually get. Now the Dominion beams come from the Boldly They Rode mission, so you get to hear the classic clip of Kurland here a few times. Again, nothing but respect for Bordicus out there for that clip, as much as people like to pick on him over it. But Dominion beams are pretty decent to get going with. Then, for our chronometric beams, what make those so good is, actually, let me show you the thing in game here. What they have is a 15% shield penetration to self, so whenever they proc, some of your weapons will actually get through the shields a lot easier. Then for our piezo beam, it gives the regenerative, or the protomatter regenerative influx to self and nearby allies, which is a pretty hefty shield regeneration of 245.5 shield regen for 10 seconds. And you also regenerate 150% of your maximum hull per minute for 10 seconds. So, very nice sustainability just with that beam. And it does get the crit D mod whenever you take it to Ultra. What you're actually viewing in game is the Mark 13 Ultra, because mine don't come out at 12 very rares anymore, thanks to the Temporal Agent. But I did kind of want to showcase that in game. We also have the chronometric capacitor, kind of see what that gives. Now we also use the 3 set mainly for the bonuses. You can kind of see what the sets give. The 2 set, not too terribly majorly impressive, I don't think. Gives a little bit of aux power and a little bit additional aux power at lower power settings. Then you have the chronometric energy converter, which is one of the main reasons we're running it. Whenever you use it, it's on a 2-minute recharge, and it gives 32.5 exotic damage for 15 seconds, in addition to 18.5 energy weapon damage for 15 seconds. So you could supercharge an exotic ability and supercharge your weapons at the exact same time. But the console is pretty decent. It's a Polaron console. 25% Polaron damage at the epic quality, as well as some weapon power, exotic particle gens, and some torpedo weapon damage. So pretty fairly decent. But back to the builder. Then for our shields, our engines, our warp core, and so on, this is a favorite of mine for a free set, which is the Soul Defense set. The shields, the engines, and the deflector all come from the Midnight Mission. This is the one with the Iconians. It is actually the final one in the Iconian arc. Basically, by having 2 of the items equipped, you get the equivalent of a neutronium armor for free just by having the items on the ship. So you get a neutronium armor, essentially, without having to actually equip one. Since the Soul Defense set does not come with a warp core, we had to go get one from a mission, and the one we usually like to use for this is the Temporal Phase Overcharged warp core. Now basically, if you're familiar with the Temporal Negotiator device, then you essentially get that in the form of a warp core capacitor from the Temporal Phase Overcharged core. You use the item, and then for a short time your bridge officer cooldowns are cut in half. So, very potent. For devices, I like to think of them as personal preference, but one device I definitely recommend to people is the Subspace Field Modulator from the Skirmish mission. Nice little defensive thing you can have whenever you're about to die, or whenever you need it. But as far as our engineering consoles go, and all of this build is keeping in mind the new Tribble system that we're actually going to be coming into on the 25th. Now we did use the universal console that comes with the ship. Everything, I'll show that to you guys in game right quick. It is the Energy Distributor Accelerator. As a passive, it comes with 20% directed energy damage and 20% flight turn rate. So basically comes with an RCS console equipped on the ship already. Then it also gives the energy distributor effect, which is really nice, to allies, maximum 10 all power for 20 seconds. So basically that's a free 40 power whenever you take into account across the board. Then you get 1 cycled energy counter for 60 seconds for each ally within 5 kilometers. Every second for 20 seconds. So, pretty decent ability. Then reduces recharge time on Gravitic Lance by 0.3% every 2 seconds. And scales based on your cyclical power charge. Cycled. Blah. I can't words today, apparently.
It's okay, neither can I.
Yep. Then
Words are hard.
yes, they are. Then you also get a plus 15 all current power level settings for 20 seconds to an ally, and then for the ally to target, it is 150% power transfer rate for 20 seconds, and this is on a 2-minute recharge. So, a pretty fairly potent little console and everything. Then you also have the Gravitic Lance. I'll showcase that right quick. The overcharged Gravitic Lance is a radiation damage weapon, and the damage is increased based on the amount of cycled power charges that you have. So it's good to use the console first if you know you're getting ready to fire the lance, then charge it up with other abilities such as our chronometric energy converter and any other type of exotic boost that you have. But and then, since this is the other one to show in game, we have our regenerative integrity field. Now, I did want to go with this because it is a very cheap, easy to obtain thing, especially with the Phoenix lock boxes that are out. It's only 4,500 dilithium, assuming you get lucky. But if this is otherwise unavailable, I would say go with a field generator. But basically what this does, it buffs your hull healing and also gives a nice chunk of HP back up front whenever you use it. And then for the next few seconds, 20 seconds, you get a bit of hull back each time you fire your weapons off. There's a minimum amount and a maximum amount that you can get per shot, up to 10 times per second, and is a very nice get out of death free card, I would say. But the other consoles we have are the piezoelectric console. This is one from the Lucari rep, and buffs the Polaron damage as well as gives a bit of turn rate to it. Then the 2-set, probably should have just stayed in game, don't know why I didn't. Everything, I know I'm switching back and forth a lot, folks, but some of these I wanted to be able to give y'all some decent numbers with them so you can see kind of what you're looking at. For the 2-set bonus, because you would be using the piezo beam and the console, you get 15% photon projectile damage, 15% additional Polaron damage, and 20 drain expertise for free. So that's just by having all of that equipped. So you're essentially running the equivalent of a free tactical console just by having that piezoelectric console on the ship. And then the console itself also gives a bit of maximum shield capacity. So pretty potent little thing to get from the Lucari rep. And you only need to be tier 1 in order to access it. Your other items for engineering are the Trillium D plating that comes from Ragnarok. This gives some all damage reduction, basically a combination of a neutronium armor and a field generator console. And then for our final engineering console, we have a conductive RCS accelerator, because why have only one benefit when you can have 2 or more? This is really actually the only money item that we spent anything on out of our 2 million EC budget. So you still have 1.8 million left at the end of this. Then we have our assimilated module for a science console. This gives a bit of crit chance and severity. Then we also have the 0-point conduit for a bit of drain expertise that it gives, as well as the crit chance. So very nice little console to have. Then for our tactical consoles, we had the chronometric converter that we showed earlier, or the chronometric capacitor, I should say. Then we have 3 of the directed energy distribution manifold consoles. These come from one of the missions in the Yesterday's War arc. This is the Terminal Expanse mission. Now that is the mission that you've probably heard me say before. You've got to complete all the previous missions in Yesterday's War before it will even show up. But I went with these because there's not really a purple guaranteed Polaron console in game at the moment. So that's kind of what we went with in terms of equipment. I left the hangar bays blank because I personally feel that the hangar bays are personal preference. If you can get them, I would definitely recommend the frigates because they're very potent. But the next things we have are our skills. You can kind of see what I'm going with as far as the skills go. We have a few points in the improved shield capacity, and then 1 in shield regen, a couple points in hull capacity, 1 in the regen. Then we also maxed out our advanced weapon training. Lieutenant Commander, we also picked up the improved EPS flow because, free power transfer. We do have a point in impulse expertise. I did decide to pick up the control expertise and the drain expertise from the tree because they're nice to have. I also did max out the advanced targeting expertise as well as the defensive maneuvering. Now, under the new system for Tribble, you will need a bit of accuracy, so you get a pretty decent chunk of it from the expertise for targeting. I also went with the 3 points in the hull plating category, because it is a nice defensive. I also picked up the improved shield hardness to take less damage to our shields. We also have the weapon amplification, as well as the weapon specialization. Now, I would point out that on Tribble at the moment, I know the value on the screen says 20%, but on Tribble this value has actually been doubled to 40% that you can get for free just by picking it up here in the thing. Then the weapon specialization has been lowered slightly on Tribble to 4%. So a slight hit there numerically, but you can make that up elsewhere, so it's not too terrible of a nerf or a loss. I did pick up the defensive subsystem tuning for free power, as well as the offensive subsystem tuning. Again, I can't words. I'm pulling a Kirby, but
Hey!
not that I would go there or anything.
Hey!
You know.
He's not wrong.
He went
Well.
there. Oh, come on.
Just making sure she was still conscious and everything out there, you know.
I am.
But, anyways, we also had our improved particle generators for the 42.5% because occasionally I do still utilize a couple of exotic abilities, and plus that can boost our lance a bit. Then we also maxed out our long-range targeting sensors so that we don't have the drop-off penalty as much. Now, this is one where I'm sure Kirby and me differ, is I actually put the 3 points in the shield pin because under the new system, the main difference between the shield pin is that it will actually increase the shield bleed through. Actually, I think they did change that in the tooltip on here. That's nice. So you're actually going to be able to pick up a bit more of the shield bleed through, where basically more of the damage will bleed through the shields instead of being stopped by the shields outright. Now, I went with that one versus the hull pin because I don't think, for me personally anyway, that the minuscule amount of hull pin that you get justifies the amount of investment in skill points you have to spend. But again, for me, that is purely personal preference. Final points are the warp core potential because, you know, free power. And then I did pick up the shield mastery, which allows me to negate one critical hit every 20 seconds. And then we have on shield mastery trigger up to 20% of incoming damage applied as shield healing. So it allows me to maintain my shields a little bit better. For specializations, I did stick to pilot because it does still have some nice defensive abilities, especially rock and roll. For strategist, some of the abilities have changed a bit on Tribble, but it still gives some nice values and everything overall. Then finally, coming into our traits, take a look at these. Then we'll look at our buff powers. We have the accurate trait. This is a free trait that you get that gives, I think it's 5% accuracy if you have the regular version, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so. Let me double check that.
Alright. Yeah. But basically, the accuracy is going to be needed. That way you can offset a bit some of the accuracy penalty to things such as cannon scatter volley, and also things like the beam fire at will. Everything. Then we also have the beam barrage, because it is a free trait that you can get from leveling your R&D. Then we also have the beam training, which is free beam damage. Elusive.
It is. Sorry, it is 10% accuracy.
It is 10% accuracy. Okay, so it's...
10%. Better than we thought.
Yes, so actually a lot better than we thought. So then we have for the next trait is the Give Your All. Now, I do like to assume for my budget builds that you're leveling 1, maybe 2 of the R&D schools, and the 2 that you chose for this particular build were Beams and Engineering. Then we have the Grace Under Fire trait, mainly because this builder defaults to Engineering. If you're not an Engineering captain and you have the ship, you'll just swap out your career-specific, or this ability for your own career-specific trait. Then we have the Nanite Repair Matrix, which is a nice little thing from the Midnight mission. It triggers a hull heal when your ship drops below 50% hull and may happen once every minute and a half. And we have the Operative, because that is free critical chance and severity. And then finally, the Fleet Coordinator, because it is free damage based on your party size. Now this is where we start to get some interesting effects, is our Starship traits. You may notice this is one of the few times that we actually have 4 traits in our trait slots. Now the first one we have is the Repair Mode trait. This actually comes with the ship itself. Whenever you suffer more than 10% of your hit points in a 3-second period, you get a Repair Mode counter. Upon receiving your 3rd Repair Mode counter, you will immediately become disabled, gain a very high increase to damage resistance, and a large amount of temporary hit points. And you'll also gain a powerful heal over time for the effect of the Repair Mode. Now, I can actually show these numbers a little bit in-game, so you can see what you would be looking at. On the 3rd Repair Mode thing, it is 10,000 hit points every half second for 5 seconds. So that's around 100,000 HP. And then 500 all damage, bonus damage resist rating for 5 seconds. 50,000 temporary hit points. You're disabled for 5 seconds, and it removes all Repair Mode counters. So basically, if you've ever been in Battle of Procyon 5 and you've seen the Enterprise shut down and repaired, that's essentially what you do. Very, very potent little trait and everything. Then we have the Best Defense. This comes from the Midnight, or not Midnight, but the House Peg mission. This comes... basically what this allows you to do is your attack patterns grant a hull healing buff along with their normal effects, so it is very nice to have. Then we also had the improved pedal to the metal, because it is a free thing you can get from Pilot. Then if you have worked on any of your other specializations, one of the ones I would recommend is the improved predictive algorithms from Intel, because it allows you a bit of accuracy bonus while it's being used. For our space rep abilities, we have the tactical precision for the accuracy that it gives you. And we have the advanced targeting systems, because free severity. We have energy refrequencer, because it heals you for a portion of the damage you deal with energy weapons. And then finally the precision, because free crit hit chance. For active rep, we have the anti-time entanglement singularity, which, although it's not as potent as it was before on Tribble, it is still a very nice ability to have. We have the biomolecular shield generator, because it's a nice defensive ability in space. You deploy sensor interference platform, because it can pull off of you for a few seconds if needed. Then we have our quantum singularity manipulation. This applies a temporary cloaking effect to the ship, as well as buffs your science stats for a short time. The combination that myself and Kirby like to use is we use our quantum singularity manipulation first, then we follow up with our anti-time entanglement, ideally while the enemies are grouped together, but all the same a nice little combo, and it will buff the effects of your gravitic lance as well. So,
yes, it will.
Very, very powerful ability, definitely not one to be underestimated. But finally, we have our bridge officers. Now, the Lieutenant Tactical is actually blank. For whatever reason, it would not let me fill it in on the builder. I'm assuming
what's going on with that?
I'm assuming that's a bug that they've got worked out, or that they're trying to work out right now. But basically, we'll get to that station in just a second. But the easy ones we have to work with are the Commander Engineering / Temp Ops. Now, what I went with for this one is an engineering team, because it gives us some healing, as well as purges certain debuffs, such as some of the system's offline effects. Then we have the reverse shield polarity to recharge our shields in a pinch. We also have emergency power to weapons 3, because it gives us some free weapon energy, as well as removes the weapons offline, and gives an energy weapons damage increase for a short time. I also have Recursive Shearing 3 for the Temp Ops. Now, the Temp Ops power, Recursive Shearing 3, will need to be purchased from the exchange or trained by somebody in Temp Ops. So that is one thing to keep in mind. Whatnot, but overall, even on Tribble, it's still hitting pretty decent. Again, not nearly like it was before, but still very potent nonetheless.
Now, it does depend on how hard recursive sharing hits. Still depends on how good a team you have. If you have a team of players all doing about 10k, your recursive sharing is not going to hit nearly as hard as if you have a group of players all hitting about 90 to 100k.
Yes, that is one thing.
So something to keep in mind.
Yeah, that is one thing. I'm actually glad that Teacher brought that up, because obviously the more damage that is dealt while recursive shearing is up, the stronger the recursive shearing damage will be. So definitely keep that in mind when using the ability. But the next thing we have for our Lieutenant Engineering, we have a duplicate of Engineering Team, and then we have a copy of Emit Unstable Warp Bubble. Now, that should actually be Warp Bubble 1. The system is a bit messed up on that, but nonetheless it comes from the Delta Flight mission, and it cuts the turn rate, the damage, and so on of the enemy craft that it hits within 4 kilometers, and there is no hard upper limit to the amount of enemies that you can hit with it at the moment. Then for our Lieutenant Science seat, we have the Science Team 2, that purges certain debuffs such as subnucleonic effects, as well as a bit of shield regen. We have Hazard Emitters to purge certain hazard effects and gives us a heal over time. But coming into our tactical abilities now, what was supposed to be here on the Lieutenant Tactical seat was a Tactical Team 1 ability, because it redirects our shields as well as gives some other nice buffs. Then the attack pattern that I was going to go with is actually attack pattern beta in this case, because it is a very nice ability to have, debuffs the enemy, makes your weapons hit harder, not just for yourself but for your team as well. Then for the Lieutenant Commander Universal seat, it is also a command seat at the same time. I put a Tactical Officer in there, and I went with Overwhelm Emitters 1, then Rally Point 1, and finally the Beamfire at Will 3. This was a way I could kind of cheese it a bit and get my Fall 3. Then the Rally Point, pretty good because it can purge certain effects from your ship and whatnot. But it's pretty much what I've got going with. I tried to program a bit of stuff into the ship because of the lance, so I wanted a bit of exotic to go with it. But any thoughts on our budget build, guys?
I probably would have doubled up on the Fire at Will. I know you're not going to get it perfect because you can't double up on the Fire at Will 3, obviously. But I probably, instead of Overwhelm Emitters, probably would have taken a Fire at Will 1. And then I'd probably leave in the Rally Marker and just leave the 1 beta. Because the Rally Marker is a nice strong heal.
I can agree
and
with
you've
that.
got enough, you've got enough accuracy that accuracy debuff on the Fire at Will 1 shouldn't shouldn't do you too hard.
Yeah, definitely some good options there that you do have. If you find yourself to where you don't really need the extra healing, then absolutely do what teacher said. Double up on the fire at will, because that'll just let you crank out more damage and everything. But that is why we do bounce these ideas back and forth off of each other. That way we can give you the options. She can say, well, what about doing this? That way you know what's out there, you know a bit more about what your options are, and that way we can kind of get the information to you guys better.
Yeah, the only other thing I can see is maybe take off the extra engineering team and slide in emergency power to weapons 1, so you always have an emergency power to weapons up.
Also a possibility as well. But,
Yep.
yeah, like I say, if you find yourself in a situation where you don't really need the extra healing, that's definitely some stuff that you can do. But, anyways,
Yeah.
that's... Oh, go
I
ahead.
actually have a suggestion for another device that you could probably use on this ship.
Okay.
Ooh.
Depending on how you are with wanting to stay mobile or not, as you've gone full beams, I would recommend Deuterium Surplus, since that gives you a little bit of flight speed and turn rate just in case. If you want to get to full broadsides on one person just out of the blue, and he maybe turned just out of your arc, and you just need to get him back in that arc, you can pop that, turn real quick, and get all broadsides on him again. So there's
Then-
something.
Just so folks know where to get it, that is the one that comes from the duty officers, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that correct?
Actually, it
Alhina system.
yeah, it's
Okay.
at the bottom of the beta quadrant. I can't remember the name of the place.
The Alhina system.
Oh, the Alhina system. Alright, you said it. My bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you do have to fly there and get the mission.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So that is definitely one that could be used. And the ship itself, it does have the cruiser commands, the strategic maneuvering, and the weapon system efficiency, so you do have some pretty good stuff to play with. Plus, you also have the molecular deconstruction beam for damage as well. That is very, very powerful thing to have from
Oh,
any
yeah.
kind of temp op stuff. It can heal you for quite a bit, it can damage them for quite a bit, so you've got a lot of abilities to play with on this ship.
Mm-hmm.
But, and in case anybody does decide to go for the frigates, this is what the elites look like, in case you're curious. So you can see on the screen, beam fire at will 2, scratch the paint, channel deconstruction, the torp high yield 1, and emergency to weapons 1. They also have a beam array forward, a dual bank, and a quantum torp, and then a beam array in the aft. So, pretty nice little pets. But overall, that's pretty much what we've got for our budget build this week. And everything for you guys. Now, I don't really have anything for the bugs corner this week. Everything, I've got some stuff I've had to take care of outside of the game. I've not really had a chance to do too much testing this week. But I should be back in the swing of things pretty quick on that. But this brings us to our next segment of the evening, and we have Teacher's Corner, where we customize our user interface. Take it away, TeacherKirby.
Yes, so I'm going to share something that most people don't know. When I first came into the game, because I've been praised for how I play KDF characters, but when I first came to the game, I was all fed. I was all fed. I refused to make a KDF character. You know why? Because the red user interface gave me a headache. I couldn't take it. So, thankfully, Cryptic finally, after a while, and I forget exactly when they started doing it, but they finally allowed us to customize the colors of our user interface. So once they did, I made a KDF character, and I changed the color as soon as I could, so that I could then play my KDF characters and not get a headache from seeing that orangish, reddish color all over my screen. So, Teacher's Corner this week, because I was talking with somebody and he reminded me that not everybody knows how to do this. So Teacher's Corner this week is customizing your user interface color, showing you how to go in and change the color just in case you, like me, get a headache from one color or another that they use for the UI on the screen. Comments, thoughts?
I say extremely helpful. I do like the change of allowing the different types of color palettes, and definitely moving around the UI and all that, but depending on what color you like, there you go.
There you go.
And it did come out around Delta Rising.
Yep.
Yeah, I know it was somewhere near there.
Definitely
Was it?
fun
'Cause
for
I
our
could've-
space Barbies.
Yes. Well, not just for Space Barbies, because, I mean, I don't really have an interest in Space Barbie, but I use this every time I make a KDF character. I change the color of the UI, because otherwise, within a couple minutes, I got a raging headache going.
Also, you can save your UI from your main character and load it on your other character.
And load it on your others, you can.
So you don't have to worry
Yes,
about
you can.
So you don't have to worry about doing your chat channels all the time.
Yes. I have a Teacher's Corner on that as well.
Segway.
Segway. And I have a Teacher's Corner on the deuterium surplus too.
In other news, Teacher has segues going all over the place.
Segway of the Segway of the Segway of the Segway.
Hey, somebody made
She
a
would.
video on that. Yeah,
She totally
yeah.
would.
But all kinds of helpful videos on my channel, and they all promote. Most of them promote this show. Anyway, I was on a show prior to this as well, and so those ones promote that show. But anyway, yeah, so customizing your user interface color can be very helpful, especially if you are sensitive to certain colors, like I apparently am. Yeah, I didn't even know it until I went to go play a Klingon. I was like, oh my god! Yeah, I got a raging headache within like 2 minutes and had to shut it off. So yeah.
But,
Anyway.
anyways, folks, we're coming up on the final segment of the evening where we have our RP Corner with Artie. What have you got for us, dude?
Okay, well, a friend of mine was like, hey, your character has so much background and all that. Did you write all that yourself? And I'm told him, no, a lot of it's just been with the story. So he was like, wow, how did that all work? So the question for this week's story time was, have any of your characters, and I'm going to use my character Artie, ever RP'd something so good or bad that it has everlasting consequences years down the road? I have been playing Artie for quite a long time now, almost about 5 years now, and there has been so many situations that just hearing Artie's name, some people go, "Oh shit, we're in the wrong neighborhood. Maybe we should skedaddle before who comes and smacks us across the face and blows up our 10 tons of ships." So, but one instance I'm actually going to specify on something I've mentioned previously. Artie has a baseball bat, a heavily armed, very dense, custom-made baseball bat that she uses in military operations.
Oh, God.
A baseball bat?
Yes, it's contractable.
Okay.
To put it into perspective, this thing, due to all the material that's in it, weighs about 8,500 kilograms.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And luckily she's able to carry it. So, but due to just carrying the weapon and defeating multiple pirates, hostile forces, and all that, she gained the reputation, of multiple different names. Some of them not polite to say over stream, but basically, just showing the bat up in the sky or something, and someone sees it, armies of enemy forces just start running in the opposite direction. In a most recent event, just due to her reputation of being such a good fighter, or bad fighter technically because she doesn't play fair, caused a diplomatic incident. She was sent to go just deliver a convoy of what she was told of just food and items, and found out she was transporting refugees. And the people that were like, "Hey, you're transporting refugees," thought that we were holding them illegally, like forcing them to stay where they were before we transported them over back to their space. And just due to going, yeah, Artie's over on this ship. You mind just letting us through? We didn't know it was an accident. And went, "Oh, you're Artie? Do you have the baseball bat?" "Yeah." "All right, prepare to die."
So, are you saying that somebody deleted your ethical subroutines?
No, ethics has nothing to do with a baseball bat.
Well, you said your character's evil.
Oh no, my character's not evil. My character just doesn't play fair.
Okay, doesn't play fair.
Yeah, you may bring a gun to a fist fight. Well, luckily, your weapon may not have much effect. Oh well.
So the baseball bat is the
you-
baseball bat from Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Funny, but no, I did not get my idea from there. It does not have any spikes on it, and it's not controlled by a madman.
Well,
Fired.
I heard it.
maybe
I
a
heard it
bad
I heard
hologram.
it both ways.
I'll go with that. Mad hologram. You're right. You're right there. But to bring it around to a full circle, due to Artie's miraculous skill of melee combat with this baseball bat, which is dubiously named Combat, and a joke for what she gets into. Just any hostile force that was in the local area would recognize her or the baseball bat and go, "We've either done something really dumb that have this happen, or we're going to get our asses kicked."
It's time to go.
Exactly. But
Basically.
just due to that reputation, bad things have happened, and sometimes good things have happened. We've sometimes had to skip over events just due to Artie being there and people in the situation going, "Oh, we're expecting to fight thousands of people. Now we just have to fight 3 people. Cool." Or to the point of, this was supposed to be just a milk run, just dropping off something, and turns out we're almost starting intergalactic war. Yay! So.
That's funny.
Oh yeah. Also, if you, for any of the viewers out there, you can contact me in game at Omega Icarus. You may be able to find me by one of these other jokers up here. But what you can do is, if you have a question that you would like answered for roleplay and all that, just contact me. I'll see what I can do. Maybe I can get it on stream too.
Ooh.
Yep, he is definitely the man you want to talk to when it comes to this kind of stuff. Knows a lot more about it than probably I ever will. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Nah, I'm sure.
Knows much more about it than I do.
Nah, I'm sure. Darkblade over there secretly goes to Artie when no one's looking.
No, he can go to Drazana for that. I'm good.
Ah!
Oh.
Shots!
And on that note,
Shots fired!
Could do better than him anyway, but anyway.
oh,
I'm hurt.
Wow.
You didn't expect me to make it an easy statement there, did you?
Good point. Good point.
These
Alright,
guys would be
little
worried
kids,
if...
cover your ears.
Yeah, pretty much. That was a NSFW moment. But,
Wow.
these guys would be worried if I ever logged on and I wasn't giving them grief in some sort of way. Though they usually get me back by burying me in paperwork, so it evens out in the end.
True.
Like last week.
Very true.
Yeah, definitely like last week. But, anyways, folks, it's pretty much what we've got for our show this evening. Whatnot. Also, a shout out to our folks over at the Temporal Armada who have been kind enough to rebroadcast us and everything. Definitely go check those guys out as well. Whatnot. But, anyways, folks, hopefully you've enjoyed the show this evening. And
I was
go
going to say,
ahead, teacher.
and don't forget our GoFundMe to help fund our tables at Vegas. This will help pay for the electricity and the internet so we can bring the Vegas experience to you.
Absolutely.
So, yes.
Every little bit helps and everything, even if you don't have cash that you're able to give and everything, then just spreading the word helps quite a bit, and we are grateful for any and all help that you guys give us on that front. But if you'd like to see more interviews with actors, sometimes spur of the moment, as happened last year, and you want that news directly from the floor of the convention, then definitely consider supporting us and whatnot. But as always, we are grateful for the support, because without you guys, we wouldn't have a show. But anyways, folks, for now, this is the Pilot Review Show, and we're warping out of here.
How long?
Zoom!
See ya.